Okay, cool. It looks like we are going to be going first. And yeah, this is kind of what you sign up for with this deck. So we're going to keep multiple draw spells, clearly, to kick things off. Since we don't know what we're playing against, I like leading with the Polluted Delta here. We may want to end a turn, play that Opt. But in order to kind of know what we're looking for, we want to know what the matchup is first. And so I like just playing Delta, saying go here. Alright, so it looks like some sort of aggro deck. Here's a Goblin Guide coming in. So first instinct is to want to get this Goblin Guide off the table and to bolt it. The question then becomes, do we want to sacrifice the Delta right now? And I think we do. I think we want to sacrifice the Delta. Unfortunately, we had no way of having a free untapped red source, so we're going to have to bolt ourselves. The reason why I like doing this is that if a spell is on top of our library from the Goblin Guide trigger, we get to draw it rather than shuffling it away. So I think that, and so we saw Cryptic Command. Okay, not the best, not the worst card we could see in that spot. And we definitely want to set up a little bit. I like playing Island and then Serum Visions. Okay, so another Cryptic and a Vendilion Click. We're pretty heavily incentivized to want to dig for Emrakul. So I'm just going to bottom those. We already have one Cryptic. The Vendilion Click. Perhaps our opponent is on burn. So the Vendilion Click could be a target of something like a Searing Blaze. And this deck does do a lot of digging, which is what we're seeing ourselves set up to do, is to dig. Now, if this is an Eidolon, okay, so it's not, it's a Swift Spear. If that was an Eidolon, that would definitely be pretty bad news. This still isn't great. If our opponent's holding, well, a lot more burn, we're probably just dead here. So our opponent's not going to be doing anything more. I'm just going to go ahead and opt. Don't think we want that Scalding Tarn. Looking for a bit more action than that, but okay. I'm going to put this Steam Vent into play tapped and pass it over. We did find a Remand. Remand isn't at its best in the matchup. Maybe if our opponent is holding something like Rift Bolt, say land Rift Bolt, we can remand it and it would be effective in that spot. It's also pretty good here. Certainly going to cast it to remand the Eidolon. Now, we'll see. It looks like our opponent has an additional play, though, unfortunately. And we still haven't found the Emrakul. Even if we are able to survive until turn 5, we don't know that we're actually going to be able to win the game because we haven't drawn or seen Emrakul at all. And it's true that we could be playing 4 and we're only playing 3 in the list, so that is one of the downsides. Well, we'd like to be able to cast this Serum Visions. Unfortunately, I do not believe we can afford to do so. So I'm just gonna play the land, pass the turn. Now this Rift Ball is going to be coming off suspend, and we have a bit of a decision in terms of what we want to do about this Rift Bolt. And I think we want to just go ahead and use the Cryptic Command. And I'm going to counter draw because we still need to draw into more stuff. So I think it's right to take the card here. Alright, so our opponent goes Lava Spike. If they also have, say, a Boros Charm, that would be lethal. Hopefully that's not the case. Okay, it's an Eidolon, which we already knew about. So we're going to get attack down to 5 here. If we draw the Emrakul, we are going to win the game. If not, so it's just a land. Obviously not what we wanted here. I'm going to go ahead and cast the Serum Visions. Can't really do much but cast it here, hoping for something. We actually found a Lightning Bolt and a Cryptic Command. Well, we can use the Electrolyze to take out the Eidolon going to 1 and then finish off the Swift Spear. So I'll put the Lightning Bolt on top of our deck. I'm not optimistic that this is going to end up going well. And sometimes you get into these situations with this deck. We went through a decent chunk of our library. We're playing against an aggressive deck. We did not find the combo pieces that we needed, and that's all there is to it. So, sure, we're going to make our opponent have one more burn spell here. Looks like they do, in fact, have it. Maybe a Lightning Helix. Nope, it's a Boros Charm. Okay. Fair enough. So, for this matchup, we're actually not doing that much in terms of sideboarding. Some of our land disruption is interesting in this matchup. The Blood Moon and Spreading Seas, they can be hit or miss. The Blood Moon does turn off the white mana from our opponent, so it turns off cards like Lightning Helix and Boros Charm, which is nice. And Spreading Seas is just a fine card So we're not doing a ton there. Entrancing Melody is not at its best here. Paying 3 to take control of a Goblin Guide or Swift Spear, not really where we want to be. We do want to spell to be able to counter burn spells, and then also negate is reasonable as well. Remand is traditionally pretty bad against burn. Their spells are quite cheap, and we're not permanently able to answer anything that we're able to remand, so I don't like remands in the matchup. Vendilion Click is fine. Our opponent most likely is going to be boarding out Searing Blazes. They don't do much against us. So, yeah, I'm going to go with this. I don't feel great having lost the first game, but yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, so this is a 1-land hand. I am going to keep because we have 3 different cantrips in the hand. We're looking for a land right off the bat, so I'm just going to play a land and say go, knowing that we're going to cast Opt at the end of our opponent's turn and look for any land, essentially, or Through the Breach. Through the Breach would be an interesting one to see on top of our deck, because we do want that to be able to win. Obviously, we are playing a deck that does have a 2-card combo. Alright, so this is interesting now. So our opponent has cast a Goblin Guide. I think we want to use the Opt right now before the Goblin Guide trigger. Okay, that works out. So we'll put the Electrolyze on the bottom. Draw a land. Maybe we'll get another land. Okay, so we actually did. So we drew 2 lands there. So now, all of a sudden, we're not mana screwed. We do need red, but we don't have any red cards in our hand. And now we don't need red. Okay. So... definitely a couple of options here. I think I like going with the Serum Visions. We want to get the Steam Vents into play tapped if possible, so let's see what we draw off the Serum Visions. Okay, so we found 2 cards that we are looking for. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to bury the Through the Breach second from the top, put the Steam Vents on top, because our opponent is going to be attacking us with that Goblin Guide, and then we're going to be getting a free land off the deal. So that's part of the benefit to casting the Serum Visions there. And we get to put the Steam Vents into play tapped. That's going to give us more options for our third turn when we can actually do something meaningful rather than just play these card draw spells. But if our opponent has, another good draw, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough again. So this looks like a burn spell to trigger the Swift Spear, and it is. So this attack is going to bring us down to 11. We're going to get a card here off the Goblin Guide. And this is tricky. We're untapping with a decent number of options. So we could either play a Vendilion Click or kill off a creature of our opponent's. So if we play the Vendilion Click, we want to target our opponent and kind of see what's going on in their hand. There's also a benefit to waiting. So I think I'm gonna wait. It's a little bit risky. We are gonna have to discard a card here. So I think we can just pitch the Steam Vents, hoping to draw another untapped land at some point before turn 5. In this way, if our opponent's making a play, we can kind of... It gives us more information, right? So that Lava Spike resolves. Now our opponent may just go ahead and make this attack. Sure, I'm going to let the Goblin Guide trigger happen as well. So we do have a Lightning Bolt on top. Interesting. So we could simply electrolyze the Goblin Guide here and then bolt away the Swift Spear next turn. I think that's the line I'm going to take. So our opponent's clearly representing another burn spell at this point. We'll see if they choose to cast one or not. But I think we're happy right there with our opponent not casting a burn spell. Although there's a Core Firewalker, which we actually do have a Vendilion Click as a potential answer to. And then we just drew Blood Moon. Another interesting draw, to say the least. Okay, well, I'm going to Lightning Bolt the Swift Spear. We know that's happening for sure. Now, I guess I'm kind of regretting discarding that Steam Vents. Hopefully, that doesn't come back to bite me. And I'm actually just going to go ahead and Vendilion Click now. If our opponent has an instant speed spell, most spells we're going to go ahead and grab here from our opponent. So let's see. Let's take a look. All right. One Boros Charm gone. Unfortunately, this does put us in a really rough spot because our opponent has to, like any 1 mana burn spell here, like a Lava Spike or a Lightning Bolt would kill us. Any 1 mana creature. So there's a lot of 1 mana cards that would do it. Yeah, so our opponent did find the Lava Spike there. Tough. We definitely had a decision there on turn 3. I'm not sure we could have navigated it well. It looks like our opponent just drew pretty well in that spot. So that's going to do it.